Today, we're diving into the most censored scenes from Sailor Moon, one of the most iconic anime series of the 90s. The show brought magic, thrilling battles, and unforgettable characters. But when it was adapted for international audiences, many elements were altered or removed, changing the show's original tone and impact. So, get ready to check out the most censored moments of Sailor Moon and discover what was hidden from viewers around the world. 10th place, violence. Sailor Moon, with its magical and intense battles, didn't shy away from showing action and violence in the Japanese version. It was common to see cuts, scratches, and even a bit of blood, all to add realism to the warriors' fights. However, in international adaptations, many of these scenes were softened or cut entirely. Even small injuries were removed, making the battles less impactful and taking away some of the intensity of the fights. The censorship turned intense moments into lighter scenes, altering the experience for audiences outside Japan. These changes were made to make the anime more accessible to young audiences, but they ended up reducing the emotional impact of the battles. The result was a version that didn't fully reflect the intensity of the original fights. 9th place, Drunk Usagi. In 2 different episodes, Usagi finds herself at parties where she accidentally drinks alcoholic punch, leading to embarrassing situations. The first time, Mamoru kisses her while she's clearly intoxicated, a moment that hasn't aged well. The second time, the anime tried to soften the scene by changing the context to an excess of sugar, but the alteration was quite noticeable and lessened the gravity of the moment. The intent was to depict real-life situations, but the changes ended up distorting the original message. The censorship of these scenes tried to protect Usagi's image, but ended up creating inconsistencies in the narrative, making some situations feel forced. These edits showed how the international adaptation tried too hard to polish the character's behavior. 8th place, Implied Nudity. The transformations of Sailor Moon and her friends are iconic, but in Western adaptations, any suggestion of nudity, even if implied, was drastically altered. Body lines were removed, and bath scenes were edited to hide more of the characters' bodies. Often, the changes made the animation look strange and even disconnected, breaking the magic of the transformations and the original visual art. These changes are a clear example of how small edits can affect the visual impact of an anime. Additionally, some entire scenes were cut, diminishing the visual appeal that transformations had for fans. This took away part of the charm of the magical process that captivated the audience. 7th place, Fisheye. Fisheye is one of the most controversial characters in Sailor Moon when it comes to censorship. In the Japanese version, he is an androgynous man attracted to other men, something that was completely altered in some international versions, turning him into a woman to eliminate the issue of sexuality. Furthermore, in some countries, the entire Amazon trio, of which Fisheye is a part, was cut from the anime, losing a group of villains that brought a unique dynamic to the series. The exclusion of this character not only erased important representation, but also reduced the diversity that Sailor Moon offered. This shows how the fear of exploring LGBTQ+ themes still impacted adaptations at the time. 6th place, Americanization. To make Sailor Moon more accessible to young audiences in the United States, many elements were Americanized. Characters like Usagi were renamed Serena, and typical Japanese foods were replaced with more familiar Western options. Even details like the direction of cars were flipped to align with American standards. These changes, while making the series easier to understand, created inconsistencies for those familiar with the anime's original culture. Additionally, cultural expressions and visual elements that reference Japan were altered, stripping away the original setting and atmosphere of the series. This resulted in an experience that felt less authentic for more attentive fans. 5th place, cut episodes, including Sailor Venus's origin. Several episodes of Sailor Moon were simply excluded from international versions, including the episode that shows Sailor Venus's origin in England as Sailor V. This episode is crucial to understanding the character's past and her motivation to join the other warriors. The exclusion of important episodes like this weakened the narrative and left viewers without a complete understanding of the characters and their stories. The absence of this episode deprived fans of one of the most emotional moments of the series, where Venus's solitary journey is explored in depth. It was a significant loss for the character's development and the anime's mythology. 4th place, zoicite and consite. Zoicite and consite were the first LGBTQ+ characters in Sailor Moon, but their identities were altered in some international dubs. Zoicite, originally originally a man, was changed to a woman to make his relationship with consite fit heteronormative standards. This change not only erased the LGBTQ+ representation from the anime, but also altered the characters' dynamics, weakening the complexity that the show presented in their relationships. The adaptation tried to soften the content, but ended up creating a shallow representation without the emotional depth that the original relationship possessed. This decision shows how censorship can affect the authenticity of a story. Third place, the entire last season, the fifth and final season of Sailor Moon, which introduces the Sailor Starlights, was not aired in many international versions. These characters transform from men to women when they become warriors, a concept that many markets did not want to convey. To work around this, some dubs created absurd versions, such as the idea that they were twins switching places. These changes took away the opportunity for fans to see the true conclusion of Sailor Moon's epic story. The exclusion of this season left a gap in the narrative, causing many fans to miss crucial moments of character and plot development. It was a significant loss for those following the series. Second place, first season finale. The finale of the first season of Sailor Moon was drastically altered in some regions, removing scenes of sacrifice and violence to soften the dark tone of the final battle. The warriors who sacrificed themselves for the cause were rewritten as captured prisoners. These changes turned an epic and tragic finale into something much less impactful, altering the series' emotional climax and diminishing the characters' bravery in their most difficult moments. The cutscenes left the conclusion without the necessary dramatic weight, making the ending less memorable for the audience. The censored version missed the chance to show the true spirit of the warriors' sacrifice. Uno se te place, Sailor Neptune and Sailor Uranus, Haruka and Michiru, known as Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune, were subjected to one of the most notorious censorships in the anime. In the original version, they are a couple, but in various international dubs, their romantic relationship was changed into a cousin bond, creating a confusing and awkward situation for viewers. The attempt to hide their love only made the relationship more visible and drew even more attention to the unfounded censorship. This change was one of the most controversial, as it transformed a positive representation of love into something disguised and strange. Still, the bond between them remains one of the most powerful and admired in the series. And that concludes our list of the most censored moments in Sailor Moon. Each change altered the way fans around the world experienced this classic. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for more lists like this one. See you next time.